I'm good. So it's like now you have to think about before you get married to this person, what do they really want? What are your expectations, especially around building a family? Are we going to go the blended family route? It's Labor Day weekend. So you're hearing the sirens and stuff. How do you stay together? What can you do to stay together with something like this? Because as you said, it feels isolating. But then when you go to these family functions, barbecues, Christmas, Thanksgiving, movies, game nights, or anything with other families, and you're seeing your friends, yes, guess what? We're engaged and we're having a baby, or we're having a baby, or we're 3 months, and here you are, haven't had a baby, trying to figure out what's going on. I'm not pregnant. Everybody else is getting pregnant, so you feel now like you're worthless. You don't deserve to be a mom, right? You may feel like God probably don't want me to be a mom because I wouldn't be a good mom, but then it's also making your partner feel like I married the wrong person and this is why I'm not having a child. So important for people to seek therapy before being married. And I think even in dating, your makeup is good, child. dating.
It's because I want to scratch.
Yeah, just pat.
No, go ahead. That's all I'm doing. Yeah.
Dating, when you are dating, to say, hey, I think we should seek counseling, because sometimes people don't think about the counseling part until it's like, oh, we're about to get married. And then if you don't belong to a church, now I gotta go find a church, and now it's like, well, you need to become a member, or and then of course you want to get married, so you're gonna be like, everything is great. He does everything wonderful, and we need to stop lying. Therapy is not just for before you get married. You should seek therapy for your own childhood traumas, and not everything is a trauma. We talk about it now, everything's trauma. Yes, there are traumas, but not everybody that is going to speak to a therapist is going because they've experienced childhood trauma. You may have experienced your trauma later on in life, and now you're trying to figure out how to function as an adult and be productive. It could be a relationship that caused a trauma, something that happened with your family, and somebody abusing your trust, somebody taking money from you. Could be anything.
Yeah. Any adverse life event.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad relationship.
I agree.
But our family's from the Caribbean. West Indian people, Caribbean people do not want to go to a therapist, tell you my business. Y'all need to stop thinking like that because they don't know you.
Yeah, I agree.
Who are they gonna call and tell your business? They don't know you. They're just here to help you work through your problems or work through those challenges. And we're just getting by and not learning or knowing the proper steps in a healthy relationship due to us now saying, oh, I'm gonna go and this is how I'm doing it and this is how I've always done it. And when you go with the this is how I've always done it, it doesn't help. It doesn't help in your relationship. And maybe you should tell your boyfriend, like, how about we try counseling?
Right. I actually think that's a great idea. Maybe, I can't even say maybe it's a Black thing. Maybe it's a Caribbean thing. The reason why I say that is because I work with...
You work in that space, right?
Right.
But now I think it's become a little bit more popular now, not just because Charlamagne the guy from the Breakfast Club talks about it every 2 to 3 days. We're seeing what's happening out here, and especially during the pandemic.
I was just about to say that, like, definitely highlighted. It's like when you have your regular daily schedule, you're at work, it gives you time to have a break away from your partner. So by the time you get back home, but to be in their face every single day with nowhere to go, quarantine is probably bring up things that, because people change over time. So maybe they got more like a slob, or maybe you realize that you just didn't really like that person. Maybe you realize that your communication and your partnership wasn't as strong as you initially thought it was. I work with a lot of clients of color, and so I do get people that are just in relationships and are in therapy. I was gonna say, I wonder if it's just a Caribbean thing of like,
because you don't see have a lot of Caribbean clients, or
I don't really have a lot of Caribbean.
Yeah,
I do have Caribbean individual clients, like as individual, as couples.
The therapy thing is something that definitely was highlighted, especially during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I mentioned this before, and you know this. We were both working as teachers during the pandemic, and that was a very vulnerable space for the entire world, especially when our parents' families are calling and they're saying, "Hey, Miss K, so and so, my father passed away, my mother passed away, my grandmother passed away." You feel helpless because you don't know what to say besides, "Oh my goodness," and then the children are being separated from their moms, because I had students whose mothers or fathers were in the healthcare field, so now they have to be away from their children. So you're away from your children, you're not seeing them like that, so a lot of time is lost. But back to your point of being with your spouse, my husband works these hours, that hour, so when I do see him, honey, I missed you. Oh, let me tell you about my day. Let me tell you what Brenda did at work. Let me tell you what my boss did. You don't realize that when you do come home, you're not even talking about anything else but work.
Exactly.
So now that you're at home, and maybe some people, you work from home. Right. Or your spouse may have lost their job, and then you're like, oh my goodness, he about to come in here and talk to me, and I don't even want to talk to him. And you know,
I'm about to come home and find him sitting in the same spot,
in the same
clothes from the day before,
just sitting there. I'm low key depressed because of my living situation. It's like, I married this person because I love them, but what did I love? Right. What was it that I love? And now you're looking at them like, I don't even like the way you put your shoes on. I don't like the way you breathe. You know, just the smallest things are irritating you to you because you've grown and you've changed. And a lot of divorce came from that. And then a lot of good things came with, like, entrepreneurship and people finding other ways to make money and build wealth by having that space and that time to be creative. But also we had a lot of people who were stranded with their abusers, and women and men, because it's not just men abusing women. Women abuse men too. And again, what if you're trying, like, now we're home, the pandemic is here, let's try to have a kid, and you're not having a kid, and now your partner wants to fight.
Marriages. What I was gonna say about that too, it just made me think about, like, in a relationship, when you have bumps in the road, you navigate it a certain way. Sometimes when you get married to this person, you've been together for so long that you just go on old habits, and we change every year, every month, every day. There's something different about evolving. And so the way that you navigated those differences before isn't probably going to be the same way, more than likely isn't going to be the same way that you navigate it now. What I like to do with the couples that I work with, doesn't matter what your presenting problem is, but I do tell couples that I do think, like, having a couples check-in is helpful, right?
Not a CPC.
Yes, girl.
Not you having a CPC.
Yes, and I do think I like to initially
and that's a co-pair check-in.
Yeah, so. I like to. Girl, I used to hate those.
Me too.
I think that
we'll do that on another video.
Yeah, I like to tell them, like, I'll do it as homework, and I'll say you can do this bi-weekly. But then I'll eventually let them know, like, hey, I want you to do this thing daily, because essentially I want you to build it in your relationship, like a practice. And it doesn't even have to go for relationships, it can go for friendships too. Because when you were talking about traumatic events or adverse events, one thing that I was thinking about is, like, sometimes it's not even like past relationship stuff that is, like, bringing distance in your relationship. It could also be your friendships. How were you treated in your friendships? How were you treated in your family home? And so when you get with this person, you are experiencing those, I want to call them trigger responses, but that's probably not the best way to phrase it, a habit. And so you do this thing. It could be something as simple as you put in that cup over there
without the coaster, because you know I like my coasters under my cup.
Exactly, right?
Right.
Trigger probably a response from your friendship. Your friend did this thing to you that you didn't like, and it made you feel disregarded or belittled and neglected. And so it's like something as small as, well, you did that there. And so I do think like that too. But basically, the essential 3 questions of this check-in is: 1, how do you feel about us? Mm-hmm. What feels unresolved? What do I need to make you feel loved and supported? And I like to add and or seen. Yes. Love, supported, and seen or heard. Like, you can say today. You can say for the rest of this week. you can say for this hour,
I'm so proud of you,
whatever
girl.
works for you. So anyway, so I think that's helpful even in the context of undergoing fertility issues, whether it's male or female reasons for experiencing infertility in a relationship, because I think that it allows them an opportunity to connect, just like have this moment where it's also like a reminder, I see you. I may not like fully understand your scope, but I see you, I hear you, want to continue to support you. I want to show love to you and whatever it is, work through whatever it is that feels unresolved, you know? And so again, how do you feel about us? What feels unresolved? What do you need or what can I do, right? To make you feel loved, supported, seen, heard, validated, whatever it is that works for them. I do think that that would be helpful in addition to therapy. And I wish that they had more support groups for women dealing with fertility issues. Because I
that's
think
probably
that,
something that you could.
yeah, it's something that I'm interested in.
You never know what can happen in the future. Your experience of being a teacher, being in that field as an educator, and then your experience with working in a fertility clinic, and now as a therapist, all of those experiences and all of the challenges that you've encountered would definitely put you in a space to give the right support, treatment that they need. Because as an educator, you have to be the warm demander, but you also need to be human,
right,
and understand human experiences, understanding and culturally competent. But your approach has to be gentle as an educator, warm, strict, but you also need to be gentle in your approach. Then working in a fertility clinic, you have to remove yourself from it because you don't want to get too involved or connected, because it's a lot. It's like you're excited for them, but then they may be coming in for a reason you don't know, and they're just like not successful. So then you have to be able to have empathy in that moment. And then as a therapist, that means you really love people to say this is something that I want to do. So I definitely want to like just highlight that part of your life. You have a really big heart and you're in it. And I know that everything that you've done to help other people has been extremely successful. So I'm excited to see where you go with your next move. I'm hoping that you just continue to go for it. But that space isn't easy, because how can you be a therapist and not just listen and be like, oh my goodness, I wish you could call me and come out so we can go out to eat so I can help you with your problem. Wow, I wish I could do so much more, but you can't because this is a professional setting. Like, how do you separate? Yes. Because it's hard not to say, what? Oh my goodness. But you have to be like this.
Okay, so.
And I'm so sorry to hear that that's happening. Well, you want to just say, what did you do? What did she do? Keep the face that you always keep. The resting. She has a really good resting face.
I'm laughing right now because, like, okay. So those feelings do come up for me. Luckily, like, I have a supervisor that I talk to about clinical cases, obviously HIPAA compliant, and that's kind of where I download those feelings. When I notice that it comes up for me in the session, like, I kind of like check myself by telling myself, this thing is coming up, like, you need to deal with this later, of like whatever it is. I'm laughing because yes, my resting bitch face is like strong.
It is very.
So during my master's level, we talked a lot about, so I went to Thomas Jefferson University, and
shout out to you.
Thank you. And all right, so we talked about self of the therapist, which is essentially like, we are human, right? In layman terms, I'm just gonna put it like this: we are human. And so while I am your therapist, I have experiences, I have feelings, I have my personality and my character, cultural, family, all of those things come together to make up me. And so essentially those things also help me to be the therapist to my clients. And so I laugh because I'm like this in therapy, literally. Like, I'll be like, hey girl, hey.
Oh wow.
You know,
because honey.
So I have moments like when I notice that things are veering down a serious path. I get like that. There's a time for everything. There's a time to play. There's a time to joke. Da da da. And I'll like be that for you. I don't know. I just can't help but to bring all of me in, but not all of me to the degree like you know how we are. Like we're friends, right? I don't know. My sister said this to me the other day. You have an ability to make people feel very comfortable, just talk with you, and authentically, I think that I bring that into my session because every relationship that I have with every client is different, but I'm like still me. Because I also like to see my clients like back to back and stuff with like little breaks in between, but essentially back to back. And I remember someone asked me, "How do you do that?" Like, girl, I need like 30 minutes in between, da da da. And I was like, for me, it's very easy to just kind of have that switch.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking, we're joking, we're kiki haha, and you experience it with me. Like we can kiki haha right now, and then hallelujah, hallelujah the next moment, and then in the next moment,
hallelujah, hallelujah, because we will,
okay.
Hallelujah.
And then in the next moment,
Father God, Jesus.
Okay, Father God, like no, but for real. And then in the next moment, like we can like sit here and like have a very vulnerable conversation and cry together, right? I can sit in one session with someone for an hour and have like a really heavy session with whatever we're talking about, whatever the nature of it, it's like really heavy. And then when I'm done, it's like, I don't know, I just tell myself like, yeah, you're like that is done. And then I'll go into the next and I can just like ha ha ha, girl cracking up. He said, "What to you? Okay. What now?" Da da da. And then by the time I'm done with the end of my day, like on my walk home or my commute home, or even if I'm at home, like I take a moment to just like really sit there and think through my whole day, and I'm just like, wow, you know. And then when I'm done, I'm done, and I tell myself, okay.
How do you decompress? And when you get home, what do you do? As a therapist, I'm listening to you and I'm hearing you say, wow. Mm-hmm. Because carrying again all these different conversations with different emotions going high and low, heavy to the lightest conversation, to now having to deal with yourself. What are some of the things that you tell yourself? How do you just reset?
So when I'm on my way home,
because I speak to you when you're on your way.
My mind analyzes. I'll analyze because I'm already thinking about, okay, like what might be helpful for this person. You are done. That's when I'm not on the phone with you. And then I'm like, okay, girl, you're done. And essentially what I do, I get inside, I pop on my little TV. Girl, Hell's Kitchen is my thing.
Okay, so
Bob's Burgers is my thing. Any dry comedy is like literally it for me. And then I'll give myself.
So you need a dry comedy.
Yeah, I just need something where like I don't need to have my mind kind of working. So I'll do that. And then sometimes when I get inside, maybe I just want to rest. And so it's like take a bath, wind down for the day. I do most of my decompressing on the weekends.
Okay. And what does that look like for you?
On the weekends, what it really looks like for me. So Friday, you know how Caribbean household Saturday you wake up?
Yeah.
And you know, whatever, you gotta clean all day. No. Fridays are my cleaning day. Friday I'm going to clean. So that Saturday I wake up, I check in with myself, and I'll ask myself, what do you feel like you need today? And so it could look like anything. It might look like me watching TV, me just having a day where I'm on the phone with you, I'm on the phone with my sister, like, you know, doing all of those things. It might look like me deciding today I just want to sit here with the lights off, with the blinds closed. No, I'm not depressed, but I just want to sit here, like sit in silence for today.
You being silent.
Girl, you'd be surprised because yes, I'll be mad quiet.
She has her phone on silent.
Okay, D&D.
And I'm going to notify anyway.
Child, so it might look like that for me. Growing up, I loved reading and I loved writing.
So journaling. Because when you say writing, it's like, are you writing a book or are you just journaling?
As a kid, I used to write books. But now I don't write as much. So writing for me, I don't know, because I want to get into a lot of different things. So writing for me right now doesn't actually come into play. I think it's more so reading.
Okay. So are you like you someone who journals? Do you journal?
No, not really. If I feel heavy, I don't necessarily journal. I write prayers, if that makes sense. And I'll kind of just like leave it there because I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I'll read my word. I'll listen to a sermon. Sometimes I have days where I just listen to worship music.
Okay.
Girl. Because you know how that goes. Sometimes, and like you said earlier, it's a lot to carry. It feels like I'm weighed down. Or weighed down is like it's a lot on my shoulders.
You feeling weary?
Yes,
tired.
Thank you. Because I'm
She's
like,
saying
what's the
weird
word?
down.
Weird down.
She sounded real Haitian today.
Weighed down. Yeah, I'm feeling weary and
worn.
Yeah,
like that song.
So yes, and so I noticed that when I feel that way, I don't want to talk to nobody, but I'll still talk to you and give it my 100%.
So you just said I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
And she is somebody. No, I'm not even being funny right now.
Yeah.
She is a person who is so giving and so selfless that I have to tell her, you need to say what you don't like and mean it. And no. So I'm just proud of even hearing you say, actually, no, I don't want to talk and really mean it. And it's just like, you don't even have to tell them that you don't want to talk. You don't need to answer your phone. And if it's an emergency, they'll send you a text saying like, hey, it's an emergency.
I do be telling people that. Like, I think now.
You told that because you never told me that.
It's different. Now.
Oh.
Because I feel like when I don't want to talk, there's certain people that I don't mind talking to. But you know, like when you get into a space where I know that this person is calling me and we're about to have X, Y, and Z conversation.
And just be no.
I don't want to. So I'll let them know, like.
No, I won't even.
Right? Like,
because when it comes to that, no.
Right?
I could look and say, child, no, this conversation, not right now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Thursday.
Maybe never, because, like, girl.
Willie Jones. Okay.
Okay, Willie Jones.
Like, no.
No. I'll let them know. Like, they will text me and give me details. Hey, like, I just needed some of that.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Her friends and family know that she's a therapist. And before she was even a therapist, you were the therapist. So people know that I can call Daniella, and even for me, I've called her and I'm like, girl, I'm feeling like this, so I'm about to do this. And she's like, all right, we're going to pray, girl. I'm going to call you later. I'm going to pray. It's one of the main reasons why I even connected with you, because I was like, oh, you cool Pentecostal? Like, we had a lot of things in common. And it's good to know that you have a friend that really, truly, and genuinely prays for you and wants the best for you. And I was just like, this girl don't even know me from Adams, from Genesis. She don't even know me from the beginning, from a can of paint. It was easy to talk to you and connect with you, because even at that time, I was like going through a thing. I'm not dealing with this friend no more, and it was bothering me. And it was just like, well, I didn't do anything. It's like, girl, you don't need to worry about that. And I was like, you're right, girl. So, and at that time, it was just like, oh my goodness, I'm about to move back to Brooklyn. I gotta get a place. What I'm gonna do? God is gonna get you. You gonna be okay. I'm gonna go to church on Wednesday at 5 a.m. and I'm gonna pray for you. And it was just so, I wouldn't even say it's weird, because of course I grew up in a household. We knew that prayer was a part of our lives, but I never really had a friend. I mean, of course your friends pray for you. I'm praying for you. I'm gonna pray. And I've had friends that I pray with. She doesn't even know me, and she's willing to go before the Lord for me. And it just meant so much. And I was like, oh, I love this girl. The therapist, before the therapist title, we as her friends and family, we take advantage. No shade. Okay. No, but it's not okay. But it's not okay. So it's not okay. Just because this person is known to be the therapist or the person that helps you with your stuff, we cannot always dump. Because you see, we know your feels. Like, well, maybe today's not the day, but then you also are to blame, because you be like, no, tell me. No, and it's just like, yeah, but you also have to be able to say, nah. Yeah. I do. I feel like I do now. And I think, like, I don't mind having, conversations here and there. Because, like, essentially in a friendship, there is that give and take of, like, I'm going through something, I can come to you. Do you feel like I'm there for you? Yeah, I do feel like you're there for me. I know that I can counter you through thick and thin, a friendship that will never end. And I know that I can count on you, even if it was just for just a word, or sometimes just randomly send me things. I'm like, girl, how did you know? You're the therapist. So, do you feel that?
So I would say that I do feel like you are there for me. And I'm also going to say that, and this is something that I talk to my therapist about, I don't allow people to be there for me.
Yeah, you don't.
So I do feel like you're there for me. I think that you're there for me to the capacity that
you allow me to. You hear that?
Yeah. I do love you though.
I know you do, but I want you to see how, like, not that you're closed off, but you're I wouldn't say if you are you hesitant to share, or you feel like I just don't want anybody worrying about me.
I think it's the latter. Like, I don't want anyone to worry about
that part.
me.
She thinks she could handle everything by herself. Yes.
Yes, and then
I'm waiting for you to say no, because I'm gonna say yes.
Yes, and in addition to that, like, and we talked about this before. I often feel like all I have is me. I have to rely on myself a lot. And so all of my friends, they are there for me to the capacity that I allow people to be there for me.
You feel like you only have yourself, Buki? Oh. Yeah. And that's hard to hear, but I do understand. I understand. Yeah. I do understand. And you decided to move to Philly anyway, so that's your business. But I get it. To some degree, everybody's like that, or has a part of them was like, yeah, I let people be there for me as much as I can, or I want you to. Just knowing who to go to for certain things, and not every friendship looks the same. And she's the one that's always there. Like, I'm coming, you have an event, I'm gonna be there, And this is like, girl, I don't feel like going to that thing, so I'm not about to go. And she'll be the one to be like, I'm gonna go. Not that I'm not gonna support, because I'm big on supporting people. But then I also know that there's some times where you have to be able to be there for yourself, and being there for yourself means that you have to step away.
That's what being in Philly has taught me. So yes, I do be missing home.
Yes, you do be missing them Haitian patties.
Child, okay? Because like the food out there, it isn't good.
It definitely doesn't. And let me not say that. Let me not say that.
Not all of the food.
Because I haven't. I mean,
it doesn't give like
I started going to Philly maybe like 05. I would go to Philly, but when I'm staying by like friends, family, so we're eating what's being made in the house and going to a restaurant. But I can't say that I've experienced Philly besides going to get a cheesesteak. Right. But I can't say, oh my goodness, I love this restaurant, because the Chinese food, we're not gonna get into that. It's just something about everything about New York: Chinese food,
Caribbean food,
pizza. Yeah. Any kind of food.
Yeah. I just think like
the chicken spot.
Girl.
Okay. New York food is good.
When it comes to Philly, all right. So I was born and raised in New York. I was gonna say I am born and raised in New York. I don't even live here anymore.
So, she's from Brooklyn.
But basically, and what I was gonna say, so growing up in East Flatbush.
And a strong Haitian Creole speaking family.
Yes, and growing up in a predominantly Caribbean community, hearing Caribbean music, accents, all of that, that is home to me. And girl, I don't hear that where I'm at. Like,
what do you hear?
Americans people accents.
American people accents.
Like, Philly people accents. And so it's
what
like,
does the Philly person sound like?
They sound
like Cherry, Berry.
They say stuff like Tuesday. It's just different. I'm gonna just say that it's just different. It's just different.
So you miss New York?
I do. I miss the food and I miss the culture. That's what I miss. I don't.
But you love being in Philly by yourself.
Yeah, and that's the part I was gonna say. Being in Philly by myself has taught me to not depend on my friends as a coping mechanism. It's taught me to basically really try to understand my needs, and I've learned to vocalize that. I feel like I've gotten better at it. I don't want to talk. I don't want to come down. Like, I don't want to spend my money, all of that stuff.
You finally learned to say no.
Yeah, basically.
Aww.
you know,
because she never says no.
I know, like, girl, and I'll be miserable as hell. Like, why the hell did I do this?
And
like,
I would say to you, girl, why did you?
Girl, because it's like I wanna support, I wanna be there, but I think being in Philly is good for me.
Because if you right there, it's like, girl, I'm coming right to your house. Click, clack, because you know that's what they'll do.
You can come over, blah, blah, like, no.
Yeah.
So, or
but she wasn't talking about me. Whoever this girl, you could come over. That wasn't for me.
You felt
it wasn't for
me. Okay, or that, or I would be like, oh, you want to go out for drinks? Or you want to go out to eat, knowing damn well I'm going out for drinks? Like, okay. So, I just think that being in Philly has like...
So you said, because you want to go to the loft and eat taco and rum punch and have your rum punch.
Child, okay, with the wings.
And then chili wings.
Literally being in Philly has really taught me to really take care of myself. And so that's why I wake up every morning and ask myself, what do you feel like you need today? Mm-hmm. What do you want to do today? Because before it would just be like, I'm doing whatever everyone else want to do, neglecting my own needs, not really having anyone around me, not really having family that's close, not having friends that are close. Like, it's taught me to basically be there for myself and show up for myself. I stopped I don't really tell people I'm a therapist when I meet them, because then people start chatting.
With you,
people you don't need
to, yeah, you don't have to say it.
And it just be like, okay, and I walk away like I didn't need to know all of that
information. Yeah, but then sometimes you don't realize it, because even when you meet people, it's just like, so yeah, so how did that make you feel? And it's like, girl, stop. I know. Because you're about to have a whole session with this person for what? Child. And I because you can't help it.
But when I catch myself, I'll be like, okay, girl, like after this, like you're done. People that are close to me, so when they try to sit there and they'll talk, I'll talk with you. And then when I start to feel like it's becoming a habit, so have you thought about seeing a therapist? Because like, I'm just gonna remind you, I'm not like,
yeah, because right now there's a fee for this conversation.
Okay, like, oh my God. And I definitely have to do that to a family member of just like, okay, like, so we've done this a couple of times, like them and their partner. Okay, so normally this is what I charge. So the next time, like, this is what it's gonna be. So this is the last free be of anything. And then they stop.
Once money came involved.
Because child, no, like I'm not sitting here on my day off trying to have a whole conversation. Like, that's a boundary that I am continuously just like reminding myself to set with people. Yeah, I like to sit here and talk and listen to other people's problems, but then also sometimes I don't want to talk. Sometimes I don't care. And it's not in a mean way. It's like I don't have the like mental, emotional capacity to like give you this part of me because I need it for myself. And like I just don't want to hear it. So okay. But yeah, but circling back to like the fertility and stuff
she
like
said, that. I don't want to. Wow, you did give us a lot of information.
It's also important to find a doctor that you're comfortable with. I have recommendations.
Yes, please give me the link so that I can put it in the description box. I remember you mentioning Black doctor or African American. Was it a woman doctor?
I do have a woman doctor at the old practice that I worked at that I just feel like she's honestly great. So honestly, in my opinion, all of the doctors there are pretty great. And one of the doctors that helped founded a physician of color who was basically looking to basically target our community. I forgot the name of it, but I was looking it up earlier, so I'll find it. So
yeah, send me the info so I can put it in the description box.
Yes, girl.
Well, thank you so much, Daniella, for coming to Mimi's Corner and sharing your expertise on fertility and on therapy. I appreciate you, and I hope that you come back again. Bye. Yes, bye.